Hi there, this is the Midpoint Formula video lesson. Please make sure you've got your video worksheet with you along with your calculator so we can try some midpoint formula problems together. Alright, we're going to be starting here with the definition of midpoint, and I'm going to be using a number line to explain how we can find the midpoint even if we're given some coordinates on an XY axis. So start by making some notes here that this is going to be -2. Let's put a point on our number line. We'll make that middle 0, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. So this will be 6, and that'll be our other point. These are going to be called end points. So I'm going to call them EP, like end points. And then we're going to be looking for the midpoint. So I want to know where the middle of -2 and 6 is. So our midpoint represents the point that's in the middle. Well, to do that, we can count from either side. So we can count how many spaces it takes to get to the middle. And we would find that our middle is right here. Our midpoint, oops, is at +2. So that's one way to do it, but it gets a lot harder when we're not working on a horizontal or a vertical line, but our line is diagonal. So we're going to take our two endpoints, -2 and 6, and we're going to add them together, and we get 4. Then we're going to take that 4 and we're going to divide it by 2. So we added our endpoints together, so add endpoints, and then we divide by 2, and we actually get our midpoint. Now the reason we divide by 2 is we're taking halfway, so we're trying to find the middle. That's our midpoint. Let's try that with a different example. So here we've got two endpoints on a diagonal segment. So we can't use only just the x's or only the y's. We're going to have to be able to use the x's and the y's. And this is going to actually lead us to our midpoint formula. So let's suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, that's -4 spaces this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the right. And let's go vertical now. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll say 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have the ordered pair for this endpoint to be -4, +3, and our other endpoint is 6, 7. So if I want to find the middle of my x's and I want to find the middle of the y's, then we're going to have to use something where we add our two x's together and divide by 2, and then we're going to have to add our y's together and divide by 2. Well, if we just write our answer here as a point, then we have our midpoint formula. So this will reduce and give us a simple x, y. So the rules are add the x's and divide by 2. And then we want to add the y's and divide by 2. Let's give some examples a try. For this first one, I want to find the midpoint of the following coordinates, and I'm given 3, 7 and 1, 5. Our rule was to add the x's together, so 3 + 1, and divide by 2. And then we'll repeat that for the y's, 7 + 5 divided by 2. Now you may go to your calculator, but please be careful because you want to make sure you add the top together and press enter before dividing by 2. So it would be 4 divided by 2 and 12 divided by 2, which simplifies to 2, 6. So 2, 6 is the midpoint. Let's try the next one. The x's are -2 and +2 divided by 2. And the y's are 4 + 8 divided by 2. And then I get 0 divided by 2 and 12 divided by 2, which gives us 0, because any 0 divided by anything is 0, 6. So 0, 6 is our midpoint. Next, find the midpoint of these coordinates. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time here, so go ahead and press pause, and you want to go ahead and add your x's, divide by 2, and add your y's, divide by 2. When you've done with example 3, check back with me and then pause and try example 4. Okay, now a couple things might have gone wrong on this problem for you, so be very careful with your negatives for the x's. -1 plus -7 is a -8. So if you didn't get -4 for the x value, that might be where you want to check your work. On the other part here, the y values, we end up with 5 divided by 2. And since 5 is an odd number, it's not going to be easily divided by 2. However, we get a simple decimal, 2.5, or you may leave it as 2.5, or even as 5/2. So there's a few different ways you can write this, and you might want to check with your teacher to see which way they prefer. All right, go ahead and pause and then try number 4, and when you're done, check back. Okay, so again, we had a decimal because we had an odd number being divided by 2. And then be careful with the negatives on the y values. -4 plus -2 makes a -6. And so you get a -3 for the y value. Great job.